So my name is Amit Kumar Jain. I'm a faculty of the electrical department, IIT Delhi. So thanks for joining us in this session on inverters under QEEE program. So let us start our topic on inverters. So inverters is a very integral, important part of power electronics. So in the 3 days of 2 hours each, we will be roughly covering this the topic. So you already have got the soft copy of the same. So we will be covering basically voltage source converters. Under this, we will have single phase inverters, three phase inverters, different kind of PWM inverters, and space vector modulation. Going forward, we will see what is called multi-level converters. So today, nowadays, we are going for high multi-level of converters. So you will see what they are. So while we cover these topics, and lastly we will see uh, what is the analogous of voltage source converters, that is current source converters. So since we are dealing with inverters, we will see what is this current source inverters. So when we talk about inverter, so we are talking about inverter. So basically it is DC to AC power conversion. So what we mean by DC? So DC is basically, if we say in a voltage, DC is constant voltage with respect to time. And when we talk about AC voltage, it is variable voltage with respect to time. So basically inverters is a power electronics device which helps us to get AC from a DC voltage source. So going forward, let us start with there is something called half bridge single phase voltage source inverter. So the situation here is we want a single phase AC at the output and we have DC voltage source at the input. So basically we have, let's say, so let us say we have DC voltage sources by of magnitude plus VDC by 2 and plus VDC by 2, and we want a AC at this load. Let us assume the direction is of voltage is like this and the direction of current is like this. So how to get a AC voltage from this kind of topology? This topology is very famous as known as half bridge voltage source single phase inverter. So when this, so generally the convention is this power electronic switches, which can be either BJT, MOSFET, IGBT. Uh, so these are voltage devices. You can so the the switching of these devices always have this constraint. S1 and S2 will be complementary, and always one of these switches will be on. So if this is the scenario, what we'll get. So if we see this voltage, so let's say what we want is, let's say we want AC of time period t or frequency equal to 1 by t. So what is the best you can get? From this inverter, what is the best AC you can get? So let's say if this is a time period, so you can get the AC like this. So what you want, you can put this VDC across this switch when S1 is on, and this VDC across the load when this is on. So you can see that if so S1 is on here and S2 is on here. So correspondingly S2 will be off and S1 will be off. So if you put the switchings of these switches S1, S2 such that S1 will be on for half the time period and S2 is on for half the time period, you can get a voltage across this output as this kind of thing. So this is called square wave mode of switching. So if you do the Fourier analysis, so this is the thing. So we have S1 is on here and S2 is on here. So the voltage across the load will be like this. So this is the AC waveform we are talking about. So it has a fundamental AC waveform plus harmonic terms. So if you do this Fourier analysis, and what is the RMS value of this output voltage? It will be VDC by 2. And if you do the harmonic analysis, you can get the output voltage like this. So if you do the Fourier analysis, the fundamental output voltage will be like this. It will not, so no even harmonics, only odd harmonics will be there, because there is odd and even symmetry in the output voltage waveform. And what is the amplitude of the fundamental voltage? It will be like this. So 4 by pi VDC by 2. So this, so you can see that if you operate the half bridge inverter in a square wave mode, you will get fundamental plus harmonics, and harmonics will be of considerable amount. But what we want is pure sine wave. So we will see how to get a nearly constant sine wave from a voltage source inverter. There is another variety of inverters which is called full bridge converters. So in half bridge converter, RMS is VDC by 2, but in full bridge, since we are connecting full voltage, if you turn on this S1 and S2, so S1 is equal to S4 and S2 is equal to S3, and this is equal to S2 dash and this is equal to S1 dash. So if you do the switching such that these conventions will follow, you will get a output voltage which is so this is the difference between half bridge and full bridge. In half bridge, we get only VDC by 2 across in the positive side, the peak fundamental, but in a full wave, we'll get double the thing. So we require 2 more switches in comparison to half wave. So let us see some MATLAB simulation. So basically, I will request all of you to take the help of MATLAB in understanding, these waveforms and you're doing the FFT analysis, because MATLAB nowadays is very handy in understanding this power electronics. So which is readily available in all the colleges. So there is you can easily use them. So basically, let's say this is the half bridge. So you have 2 voltage sources here, and there's a load RL load connected here. You have 2 switches. So how we'll get the switch? So what we so let's say when you operate in square wave mode, so when we applied VDC 2 by of 100, you'll get this kind of waveform. So for a RL load, the current will be taking some time to rise. It is also taking some time to fall depending on the L by R time constant of the load. So there is something called FFT analysis. So you can see that you have all the waveforms. So this kind of analysis will tell you you have fundamental and all kind of. So you generally have fundamental, third, fifth. So all these waveforms will be there, and so 2, 4, 6 will be missing because of due to odd and even symmetry. So MATLAB will be a very handy tool. Another way of switching is what we call as sine triangle modulation. So what is sine triangle modulation? Sine triangle modulation is so we will take a reference sine wave and compare it with a high frequency. So this is called carrier wave and this is called reference wave. So whenever sine is greater than triangle, you will get waves like this, and when so basically it is modulating the switchings in a sinusoidal fashion. So if we see it more properly, it will be like this. So it will be like So because of this kind of switching, the output voltage will be a sinusoidal nature, and it will be very close to the. So let us try to do that. So instead of switching in square wave mode, let us try to switch using sine triangle. So this sine wave is, compared with a high frequency AC wave, and so you will get. So we'll let us see the how kind of what kind of switchings you will get, and output voltage. So let us, if we see S1 and S2, you can see that they are sinusoidally modulated. So these are sinusoidally modulated S1 and S2. Let us see what will happen to switches, the output voltage. Now you can see that the voltage is sinusoidally modulated and the current is purely sinusoidal. So what has happened? Let us see them separately. You can see that the voltage is sinusoidally modulated, and therefore the fundamental AC voltage which is provided to the load is almost sinusoidal, and therefore the current is sinusoidal. So what will, how the harmonic spectrum will be looking like now? We can see the FFT again. So you can see the FFT looks different from the what we have got here. So you have, if you see the output voltage FFT, it will be of fundamental, and then you have, so this is, so what is FF? This is the frequency of the triangle or carrier wave. So for a sinusoidal of output voltage, so typically what we have done here is 10 kilohertz. So this 10 kilohertz voltage will be very easy to filter, and therefore the current is sinusoidal. So this is the technology what we use nowadays. We use the devices like IGBT, which can, or MOSFET. So this can take up to 100 to. So IGBT is for basically high voltage application, and this is for low voltage application. So this is the what we are saying. If you go for, so these are different modulation techniques what we are talking about. So when we talk about square wave modulation, is utilize full capacity of the inverter. But disadvantage is in sine triangle. So slightly reduced capacity, but so this is a technology to go. But if you are, if you want to get the full capacity, you have to go for square mode. But we have to live with the, harmonic currents. So right until now we are talking about single phase inverters, where you have a DC voltage bus and a AC single phase AC output, and how to go about it. If you operate in square wave mode, you get the best of the inverter capability, but when you go for sine triangle, you get slightly reduced capacity, not very less, but you get a very good current waveform. So we always look for the the quality of current at the load side. So sine PWM is the way to go. So if we apply all the similar philosophies to three-phase inverters, let's say. So let's say we have a DC voltage and a three-phase motor, or it can be RL load. So if you see, this is very similar to. So this is similar to single phase voltage source inverter. So basically we have three of this. And a common DC link. So DC link is common. You can have a separate DC link as well, but it's wise to go for a single DC link because you can save on the number of rectifiers you are using. So let us say we want to see if we apply the same philosophy of square wave mode for a three-phase inverter, how the switching signals will be. You have switch S1, S4, S3, S6, S5, S2. So we know S1 and S2 should be complementary, and S3 and S6 should be complementary, and S5 and S2 will be complementary. So if they have to be complementary, so we know when S1 is on, S4 will be not on. But when we want to get it three phase, then S1, S3 and S5 should be separated by 120 degrees because we want a three phase. So basically here, so this is S1, S4. So this you can see these are complementary. So this and these are complementary. Then in the second phase, we have S3 and S6. So S3 is 120 degrees shifted from S1, and again it will be turned on for 180 degrees, and the complementary to this will be this S6. So when we talk about the third phase, it is S5 and S2. So S5 is here. So this is basically 240 degrees shifted from S1, and the complementary to this will be this. So this is S5 and this is S2. So square wave mode is also known as 180 degree So let us see if you apply this kind of switching. The switchings are very similar to what we have applied in in single phase inverters as well. So there we know the output voltage will be a square wave, but in a three phase, will it be square wave or something else? Let us see. So from our knowledge of single phase inverters, the output voltage of So basically, let us call this as O. So this is so let us define few things. Let us call this as O. So basically, so this is called pole voltage. So we are talking about the voltage between R phase and the center tape of the TC link. Similarly, this is VYO, and so if we see this similar to single phase half bridge inverter, the voltage of the pole voltages of each phase with respect to the center tape will be again a square wave waveform shifted by 120 degrees and 240 degrees. But these are pole voltages. But we are interested in the load voltages of each phase with respect to, let's say, a if it's a star connected load, let's say we have a neutral. So what are these voltages? It's called load voltages. But what we have right now is pole voltages, VRO, VYO and VBO. So for this we have to use this. So if we have the pole voltages with respect to a common center tape, we can get the line voltage if we just take the subtraction of these two voltages. So VRY is VRO minus VBO. It's possible to get line to line voltages. So what are these line to line voltages? Basically, now we are talking about so these are line to line voltages. These are pole voltages, these are line to line voltages, and these are neutral voltage with respect to load phase to neutral voltages with respect to the load neutral. So if you take the difference between VRO and V by O, we'll get this voltage. So when this is high, this is low. So these are each of VDC by 2. So you can see this is basically VDC by 2. But this magnitude will be VDC. So you get voltages in this fashion. And again, it's very nice to see that this will be again phase shifted by 120 degrees. So the pole voltages are shifted by 120 degrees. They have a magnitude of VDC by 2. The line to line will be of this pattern. Magnitude is VDC. They are again shifted by 120 and 240 degrees. So we are able to get from pole voltages to line voltages. Now we have to get this per phase voltages of the load. That is VR with respect to the load neutral, Vy with respect to the load neutral, and Vb with respect to the load neutral. How to get it? So we will use the property of inverter here. So for a balanced three phase So if we try to understand the phasor relation between these two, it will help us to solve for phase to neutral voltages. So let us say these are VRN, VYN and VBN. So if this is a three-phase phase to neutral voltages, how will be the how will where and what will be the magnitude of the line to line? So let us see. If we take the inverted voltage of VYN, we'll get this voltage. So if the magnitude of this is 1, this is 1, and this angle is 30 degrees, this also angle is 30 degrees, the magnitude of VRY will be 3. So you can say VRY will be 1 cos 30 plus 1 cos 30. So it will be 2 cos 30. So magnitude of line to line is root 3 times more than the phase voltage. So let us try to understand this thing again. So if this is of root 3 and this is of root 3, so we can write VRN as if you take negative of this will reverse the sign. So basically, if you add these two, this will be so from this relation, if you add root 3 and root 3 in this fashion, what we get is 3 VRN, but we were interested in VRN. So we can say that add this 2, divide by 1 by 3 to get VRN. Since we are interested in BR compared to RB, we can write this fashion. So this is basically, if you keep on writing this way, this, this, this. So we'll always talk about RY, YB and BR, so that cyclic patterns remain. So we can write that Vrn is 1 by 3 BRY minus BYB. Sorry. Uh, so these equations will help us to get the phase to neutral voltages of this three-phase half-bridge inverter. Pole voltages and line to line voltages, we know this is the pattern. Now we are trying to get phase to neutral voltages from this line to line. So how they will look like? So if you do VRY minus VBR divide by 3, what will get? So if we use this formula, that what we have derived now, we will get a waveform like this. So this is VRN. This is so if you see this magnitude, it will be 2 into VDC by 3, and this magnitude is VDC by 3. So if you add like this and this, it will be equal to 0. VDC by 3 minus 2DC by 3 plus VDC by 3 is 0. So they will always add to 0. So if you take a three-phase inverters which have circuit as shown, the line to line voltages will be of this nature. This is pole voltage, this is line to line voltage, and this is line to neutral voltage. So if you apply this kind of voltage to a three-phase motor or three-phase load, you will get a typical waveform like this. So this is the maximum utilization of the inverter. So this is but so if you apply this kind of voltages, you will get this kind of currents, and the torque of the motor will be of will contain sixth harmonic. So if somebody plots the torque of a machine, so torque will typically of So it will have uh, six. So you have a ripple 6,000 ripple torque over a fundamental torque. So this is not good for the motor. So again here we go for square wave. Uh, so we will not use square wave mode, and we will go for sine triangle modulation. So we'll see these things again. So let us define a space vector which is Vrn plus Vyn e raised to j 2 by 3 plus V. So we know that if we have three per phase voltages, phase shifted by 120 degree and 240 degrees, we can get a resultant voltage in terms of this equation. So this is the. So if you plot uh, Vs vector in a xy plot, and this theta varies from 0 degree to 360 degree, or time is 0 to t one time period. The location of this will be like this. So this is the what you can maximum get from a three phase voltage source inverter. So this is the, you can say, and uh, the length of this vector is VDC by 2. So this is a, so let's say if you talk about square wave modulation for a three-phase inverter, the output voltage. So this is phase peak. Will be 0.6366 VDC. RMS line to neutral will be this. RMS line to line will be. So if you draw the Fourier or harmonic spectrum of this square wave waveforms, the triplet harmonics will be absent, because you have a symmetry of third harmonic symmetry is there. Secondly, you will get 6 m plus minus 1 harmonics, where m is the fundamental. So for a 50 Hz output, you will get 300, 350, 250. So you will not get 300 because this triplet will not be present. So you will get fundamental 6 minus 1, 6 plus 1. So this is 5, 7. Then you will get 12 minus 1, 12 plus 1. So this is nothing but 11 and 13. So there is one question, why sine triangle PWM has the less utilization of the DC bus. So we'll discuss this once we will discuss this. So we will do sine triangle modulation for a for these three-phase inverters as well, and we'll see. So these are the maximum voltages for a square wave mode. We will see what will be these things if you apply sine PWM. So we'll see how this will be different, whether they are reduced, if they are reduced by what amount. So again, let us try to see some simulation based on three-phase inverters. So this exercise you can all of you can do in the power system block set of MATLAB Simulink. So you can draw a VDC. You can draw 6 switches connected in this fashion, and you can connect a three-phase RL load at the output of inverter. So the switching pattern, again we have to generate for S1, S4, S3, S3, S6, S5 and S2. So let's say if we are using again square wave mode, we will compare the 0 with a reference sine wave. So if the sine wave is greater than 0, we'll get S1. If sine is less than 0, you get S4. For switch, if it's a phase 1. For second phase, the phase reference itself will be shifted by 120 degree and 240 degree. And again same logic, comparison of this reference voltages with respect to 0 to get S3 and S6, S3 and S6 and S5 and S2. So only thing we have to take care is this reference voltages should be phase shifted by 120 degree with respect to it. So this is the per phase voltages across the load in the current. So current is a RL load. So you can see current is rising as the voltage is risen and falling when the voltage falls. So can we see the line to line voltages? So this is the phase voltage and corresponding line to line voltage. So you can see, so the line to line voltage is phase shifted and the magnitude of line to line voltage is VDC. The peak value of line to line voltage is VDC, but the peak value of line to neutral is 2 VDC by 3. The waveform is similar to what we have got. So you can see that what I was telling. This is similar to, see, this waveform 1, 5th, 7th, 11th, 13th, 17th, 19th, and so on. So all so this is not a good way of operating an inverter, even though it's a maximum utilization of DC bus. You have lot of low order harmonics, not only in the voltage but in the current, and also it will result in if you use for motor applications, you have low order torque ripples in the fundamental torque. It will affect the life of the machine, as well as is not good for the application which it is driving. So the why it is happening? It is happening because the voltages what we are giving is not sinusoidal, and the machines are supposed to be driven by a sinusoidal voltages. Can we go for again the sine triangle PWM for switching the inverters, which will result in fundamental sine wave plus very high frequency harmonics which doesn't have any power, and it will not create any ripples in the either current and torque. So let us see how to go about doing sine triangle modulation. So similar to the procedure we have done for single phase half bridge inverter, we will repeat the same for 3-phase inverter, and you will generate so you will a common triangle, and you will compare with 3 reference sine waves which are 120-degree phase shifted belonging to each phase, and you can get switching patterns for S1 and S4 for phase 1, S3, S6 for phase 2, S5 and S2 for phase 3. So if you say the per phase voltages, these are the pole voltages. So let's say for VRO. So if you use sine PWM, that is sine triangle PWM, if you use this pole voltage will be of this pattern. So it is shifting between VDC by 2. So this is VDC by 2, and this is minus VDC by 2. So shifting between the two taps of the DC link bus. But if we see line to line voltage, the magnitude will be VDC, but you can see the pattern of this pole voltage is sinusoidal. You can see that you have a bigger width toward the center So this is for this red phase. So you can see the sinusoidal pattern, you know. So you can say it's a basically a kind of uh, so it's a, you can say it's a kind of frequency modulation. So the sine wave is captured in a square wave in a sine fashion, and so it's a frequency modulation. So again, if we see line to line voltage, it will not have a negative. So when either you get a plus VDC or you get a negative VDC. You don't get a bipolar signal. So bipolar signal you'll get only in pole voltages. But in line to line you will not get a, so when it's a positive cycle you will not get a negative thing, and for negative half cycle you will not get a positive voltage. So basically this is a check you can do when you are actually operating an inverter. If this is like that, it is correct. If you are getting any negative pulses toward positive cycle, there is something wrong in the switching pattern. So this is basically line to neutral or phase to neutral. So again you have these three things, one level, two level. So this is 2 VDC by 3, this is VDC by 3, and similar thing on the negative side. So basically it has a sine pattern. So if you filter this using any small filter, so in case of machine, or if you are operating induction machine, you have a inductance, the leakage inductance of the per phase. So they will be enough to filter out this high frequency voltage harmonics, and you will not see this harmonics appearing in the current. So if you see the harmonic voltages, harmonic spectrum of the pole voltages, you will see, you know, fundamental plus Fs plus minus, you know, you will have a band. So this is occurring at switching frequency. Switching frequency, let's say, is 10 kilohertz. So what is the order? If this is 50, then what will be the order here? Harmonic order. So it will be 200. So this will happen as 2Fs. So this will be 20 kilohertz. So you will have, you know, 400 order. So compared to square wave mode, where you have, you know, sorry, this is 1. So in square wave mode you have 1, 5, 7, very low order harmonics, but here you have 1, 200, 400. So this doesn't have, the magnitude of these voltages is hardly anything, and it can be easily filtered out. So you can say that if you use sine triangle modulation, basically what we are outputting is fundamental only. These can be neglected. So let us try to see these things in the simulation again. What we'll do, we will apply triangle to compare with the sine wave, and what we'll get the switching signals for S1 to S6 in sine triangle fashion. So it will be the, you can say, the switching pulses of S1 to S6 is sine pulse modulated, because you are comparing now sine wave with a high frequency triangle carrier wave. So we'll see how this change in switching frequency, change in switching strategy will help us to get better output voltage waveforms and current waveforms. So let us see per phase voltage and per phase current for this RL load. So you can see this, you know. So these are per phase voltages, per phase voltage and per phase current of a sine PWM modulated voltage source inverter. So see the change it makes. Current is perfectly sinusoidal. It only happened because the voltage, the fundamental voltage is dominantly sine wave. Let us see how the line to line voltage will look like. So this is so this waveform contains one phase voltage and one line to line voltage. So again you can see the thing, this is VDC, but this is 2 VDC by 3 and 2 VDC by 3. Yeah. So these are two line to line voltages. So as discussed, you should not have a negative voltage in a positive half cycle and no positive voltage during negative half cycle in a line to line voltage. So let us try to see the FFT plot for this per phase voltage, whether it is coming as per we discussed. So you can see it is switching at 10 kilohertz, so it is 1 into 10 raised to 4. So 50, 10 kilohertz, 20 kilohertz. So if you see, try to see by order, so it will be, if you see by order, it will be fundamental, 100 and 400. So multiple of the switching frequency. So we can see that, if we, what we have discussed today. So we have discussed, if you go for sine triangle modulation, the quality of output voltage waveform and output current waveform are very good. It's almost like a harmonic free. And if you see the torque of the machine is pure DC, it doesn't have any ripple. And this high frequency ripple, it can be almost neglected. It's of the order of 0.01% or something like that. So let us forget about it. Somebody asked this question. Okay, so let us try to understand, difference between So as mentioned earlier, the inverter will be used in its best capacity when it's working in square wave mode. But when we go for sine triangle modulation, you are not utilizing the DC bus fully. And so what is the difference and what is the percentage reduction? So this is the periphery of, so this is basically, we have seen how it is, it is true for even single phase and three phase. So when you work on square wave mode, this is the thing. And so when we are using sine triangle modulation, what is the locus of Vs? So let us discuss now what is the locus of Vs for sine triangle PWM. So if we again relook at the line to neutral voltage of a sine triangle mode, so what is so you can say it is a sine wave with a peak of 2 VDC by 3. Correct? So if we use, so basically again we use formula. So if, so Vrn is a sine wave of peak of, so therefore if you plot this, it will be 2 VDC by 3. If you plot, so it will be basically 3 by 2 times, so you can say this, so in sine triangle modulation we are using this circle, and in square wave modulation we are using this hexagon. So there is a percentage reduction. So these figures we have seen for a square wave modulation. So for sine triangle this will be equal to, so basically you can see, uh, so this much fundamental peak we get reduced, 0.633 to this one. So this is the loss we get if we go for sine triangle modulation. So I hope I have answered the first question. So this difference is because of this thing. So tomorrow we will discuss one more uh, technique, that is called space vector modulation. So there is a possibility of using a larger circle. So basically, so this circle is called, if you use, so this circle is of 0.75 VDC, and this circle is of so this, if we use space vector modulation we will able to use the larger circle within the hexagon. So let us discuss this tomorrow. Yeah, so inverter can be called as DC to AC converter. Somebody has asked a question whether inverter can be called as DC to AC converter. Yeah, you can call that. Actually, you cannot eliminate these harmonics. See how to, so these harmonics are very high frequency and they don't have much significance. So there is no need of, worrying about these harmonics. So if you are switching at 15 kilohertz or above, you don't have to worry about those things. So the lower order harmonics is something which you have to worry. So nowadays we don't go for square wave mode of operation of inverters. And about symmetry, somebody asked how the symmetry works. So basically, let's say you have a waveform like this. So it has two kind of symmetries, So you have, this is half wave symmetry you have. And you also have, this. So if you should just apply this kind of waveform and do FFT analysis, you will not get so second, I can say, so somebody has asked whether the output voltage I have given peak or RMS. So this is the, we are talking about fundamental. So fundamental peak, fundamental RMS, and fundamental line to line RMS. So this is peak value of the sine wave. So this is nothing but, V peak by root 2. This is important. So first, actually there are two ways of doing harmonic analysis in the practical. We generally take data from oscilloscopes. Now it's possible. You save the data in MATLAB and do the harmonic analysis. This is one way. Or actually, if you have costly equipments like harmonic analyzer from Fluke, Yokogawa, you can directly, put the voltage probes across the line to line and get it. It will show you the harmonic spectrum. So this is the first way what we do in the lab. So see, I think so. We have last 2-3 minutes remaining. So let us wind up. So today what we have seen, we have started inverters. We have to started understanding how to get a AC waveform from a DC voltage waveform. So initially we have seen a single phase case where we are trying to get a single phase output from a DC input. So we have seen half bridge and full bridge. We have seen square wave modulation of the switches as well as sine triangle modulation of switches, and the corresponding spectrums of the voltages and currents. Then we have gone for three-phase inverters. So we have seen that in three-phase you have three phases, voltage phases that should be shifted by 120 degree. So how to get a three-phase AC waveform from a DC waveform? So we have to have arrangement of switches very similar to full bridge of a single-phase inverter, and we have seen how the switching signals from S1 to S6 are generated. And we have also seen, if you operate the three-phase inverter in a square wave mode, what is the output voltage, what is the periphery of the resultant voltage we get in square wave mode. That's the maximum thing what you can get from an inverter. But since it has a drawback of low order harmonics and torque ripple, if it is used for a motor application, it's better to go for sine triangle modulation. In sine triangle modulation, you can get voltage waveform which is almost dominantly fundamental. So because of that, we have a current which is dominantly fundamental. It's perfect for a motor kind of application where we be requiring a constant DC torque waveform. So we have also seen that if you use sine triangle modulation, we have to lose a part of the voltage available in the DC link. So that is at a order of you get around 22% less when you get we go from square wave mode to sine triangle. You get roughly 22% less voltage, but that is okay. So if you are able to get a high DC voltage from some means, it's better to use sine triangle modulation. When you have a limitation of DC voltage bus and you want a higher fundamental which is available only in square wave mode, you have to go for that. But we know the practicality, the advantage disadvantage of each square wave and sine triangle. So going forward, tomorrow we will discuss space vector modulation and multi-level converters. We'll go. So tomorrow we'll see how we can get a even more voltage compared to sine triangle and we will be still in the linear region. What I'm calling linear region is if you are in a circle, you are still in a linear circle. But when you go to hexagon, it's a non-linear kind of voltage. We will see these topics tomorrow. So thank you for joining me.